Welcome, everybody, to the return of Action Reaction.
The movie.
Damn it! Fuck my flow! Fuck my flow, Troy. With me, Zane Simon, and of course, your all caps tweet come to life, Troy O'Diamonds.
Everybody.
Yeah. We are here to talk about our favorite action movies, each week introducing a new theme and trying to surprise each other with a movie that fits that theme. Last week we talked about Drugs, which
Went pretty well, I think.
yeah, it went well. It was all kinds of fun. You know, we had good drug movies. Well, my movie had nothing to do with drugs, but it was a good movie.
That's true. He tells no lies.
And this week, what's our topic again, Troy? I've forgotten.
This week we are talking Men of Mystery.
So we've both come prepared with mystery-driven movies around this topic. Mysterious figures, shadowy figures. And before we dive into the show, however, Troy has convinced me that he has a new sponsor for us to let him to bring to the table. And he's also convinced me, he's promised, on bended knee, that it has nothing to do with cocaine, which is why I have agreed to let him find another sponsor for us, because beyond doing a show about drugs in movies, we are quickly becoming a show about pitching drugs to listeners, which, you know, drugs
You're kind of stepping on this here.
I don't want to get arrested. I'm going to say drugs are bad, but it's, you know, I'm saying this in a very, like, unracist Hulk Hogan vibe, where, you know, he's telling all the kids to say their prayers and eat their vitamins, and at the same time, the vitamins Hulk Hogan was eating were nothing to do with Flintstones.
Yeah, that's a pretty fair generalization about your sincerity here.
Exactly. So, you know, don't do drugs, or if you do, have fun. And in the meantime, Troy, who's our advertiser this week?
Is your work environment stressful? Maybe you're an air traffic controller, or trying to talk a pilot having war flashbacks into landing a commercial plane while being just bombarded by puns and slapstick. What I'm saying is, maybe you picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue. There's a better way. Try Glue Apron. Each week, you'll get a new variety of glue sent right to your door. Previous favorites such as wood glue, epoxy, polyurethanes, and even fabric adhesives. Try your first month free at glueapron.com/action. Glue Apron, a better way to huff.
Troy?
Yes, Zane?
Troy, you promised me.
I said there would be no cocaine in this read.
Technically, you followed the rules.
I followed every rule you gave.
You are not allowed to choose advertising partners for us anymore at this point. You are done.
It goes right to your door.
No. God damn you. Oh, God damn you, and God damn you for no. This.
You want to get paid for this show or not?
I don't want to get paid in glue.
Well, look, I'm sure that there's somebody you know who would appreciate fine.
You know, like with all these advertisers, that part of getting these advertisers is that you have to kind of try the product as you go. Like, oh yes, I know I use MeUndies.com because I have horrible jock itch and MeUndies is the only thing that solves it. Like, I don't know that Glue Apron is going to be for me, Troy.
Let me tell you, it's pretty fan brew. I'll be honest, I'm not usually an epoxy guy, but the polyurethanes were fantastic. It's really high quality. I don't know wherever they're getting it from. It's the good stuff.
Oh, God. Okay. So, Men of Mystery, mystery, secret people, mystery men, mysteries. Troy, what's your mystery movie? Your Man of Mystery?
The action comedy Mystery Men.
Oh God.
No, I'm kidding. I'm not doing that to you. We got a really fun movie coming up here, and it's called The Guest. It's from 2014. Are you familiar with this one?
I am not at all familiar with this one, in fact.
You know what? I think this is going to be right up your alley. Just to give you an idea about what we're dealing with here, the reviewer score was 90%.
So you actually choose something that other people like?
Well, the reviewers do. The viewer score is arguably even better at 69%.
Oh God. Nice.
Yeah, so let's get into it, man. So where we're starting here is there's called the Petersons, and they're grieving over the death of their oldest son, Caleb, who he died in Afghanistan. And they're visited by David, who a fellow military man says he was close friends with Caleb, and he was actually there with him when he died. And he says that dying words were that he wanted David to go tell his family how much he loves them, and just make sure that his family knew that that was his dying thought, was his love for them. And David just wants to pass along the message. And yeah, Mama Peterson realizes that he doesn't really have a whole lot going on, doesn't know where he's staying, where he's going to work, and just offers to let him stay with them for, until he knows where he's going, and just hear more stories about their son.
Was that a big mistake? I feel like that may have been a big mistake.
It may be a mistake. I don't know. We'll see where it goes, though.
Okay, I'm just saying. Whenever somebody's like, "I'll go out of my way to help you, random person," in a movie, like especially in an action movie, that always feels like a mistake.
I mean, this guy is like the picture of, Southern politeness and military discipline. Like, they don't say the movie is set in vaguely rural Kentucky. You can tell that's kind of what they're going for.
Okay. So in general, the idea of hospitality and friendly warmth would be right there. It would be part of the landscape as long as you're white.
Yeah, which he is.
Okay, good.
And a little bit after that, we meet younger son, Luke, who looks like the dipshit from Jurassic World, but it's not him. I checked. It looks a lot like him. He has that same dipshit kid haircut. And getting bullied at school because obviously all those other things I just described about him. He lies about it. He's hiding it. Says like, "Oh, I got hit with a football," and to like explain a bruise. But David knows what's up. And the next day, David picks him up from school, and he's being helpful, really hospitable, and then asks Luke to point out, "Come on, who hit you? Come on, who was it? Just who was it?" So he reluctantly points out the guy, and they just sort of start following them and end up at a pretty remote bar. And now keep in mind, this is high school. Why are high school kids going? Reasonable question.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so these are kids, and they follow him to a bar. Like,
they're on the football team.
Oh, okay, they're on the football team. So That's still okay. I
Rural
mean,
Kentucky or Tennessee, man.
it's true. I've just been watching like all the old episodes of Twin Peaks, which includes countless scenes of high school kids out like at the local bar drinking and crap like that. So I shouldn't be one to question.
Yeah. And anyways, so David goes in and sits down, and it's like a group of guys, a couple of their girlfriends, and David decides to order them some drinks. So it's a round of shots for the ladies and Cosmos for the guys.
Oh,
Yeah, like I know before you talked about like ordering milk in the bar being the way to like start some shit. I think David may have a better plan.
that's like the upscaled modern version of how you start. Like it was the milk is like the classic old westy western action movie. Like who orders a glass of milk, and then punches start getting thrown. But I think the modern version, because we live in a modern age and milk drinkers have been widely accepted for decades now. So I can see how now it would be the reverse gender drinks that would
Yeah,
really.
it's a little aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, one of the guys they all come over and throw the drink in his face. Eats the shit out of these guys. And it's like as brutal of a shit kicking as you can get for just being one hitter quitters. Each person just like thump down, but it's never good. Like one guy tries to hit him with a bottle and it's just like arm up, and the person swinging just like stops where it hits his arm, no budge or anything. These guys get their shit handed to them. And he politely turns to the bartender, and again, I mean this very politely, and says, call the cops and tell them what happened here. The high schoolers demanded booze and got rowdy, and a fight broke out. You didn't really get a good look at the other guys. And then he just leaves $200 in cash and says, it's for the damages. Because he's a good guy and badass.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely like, okay, so he's been a gentleman. He's stalked some kids, beat them up, paid for the damages. In one part, it feels good. In another part, I'm still getting a very creepy vibe out of this. Like,
it's not gonna get her in the next scene when the mom makes her daughter, who she's 20 years old, she's about to turn 21, it's adults, says she's going to a party and just needs to invite David along because what else is he doing? Like, yeah.
He's a military dude. He knows how to get drunk.
You'd think. Although, like, before he had turned down a beer and then, like, eventually accepted one. But, he...
So definitely a creepy vibe going on there.
Yeah, I don't trust sobriety.
A dude who's been in the military who's like, nah, I'm not going to drink. An automatic red flag.
Yeah, unless they're saying, like, just got my 10-month token.
Yeah.
Anyways, the daughter Anna seems very put upon by this request until he walks out of the hot. He is a smoke show. Anyways, you'll see when you get to it. Dude is fine. So they go to the party and it's fine. And he's being polite and decides to, like help carry stuff. And he just carries 2 full kegs at once. This man is human perfection. It's absurd. There's like, it's like, oh, what's this guy? How's he gonna react? Just smoke some weed with him. It's chill. It's nice. And you're creeped out by him? I don't know what's up, man.
I mean, it just okay. So far you've got a movie about a good dude who helps people. This doesn't feel like you.
Well, he really does kind of just keep helping people. Like the chick who's hosting the party, her ex shows up being, a shitty movie ex, and he gets one-hitter quittered too. And because of that, she's all horned up and takes him to Bone Zone.
Okay,
It's all
yeah,
good stuff.
you've painted a vivid picture for me. Thank you.
Yeah, and then before he leaves the party, he's talking to just one of the other friends of all these people there, and asks, get him a gun, which that might pay off at some point. Who knows? And so, for some reason, Anna decides to call Army or whatever to learn more about David and just going on. And
No,
Army,
call Army like call the Army, not like there's a dude named Army.
yeah, just she's calling Army.
Is that how you refer to like people calling anything? I'm going to call hospital. I'm going to call.
I've watched too much Arrested Development, and I just internalized Buster. So yeah, when Army picks up the phone and is looking up what little information she can give him, and the computer pops up, says, confidential, contact KPG Corporation immediately, which I guess they do, and some people in suits think it's really important that no one, there are any KPG agents that are still active. So yeah, we'll see if that pays off at any point later in the movie.
You're going to lead me through this whole thing scene by scene? I get the feeling you are.
I'm just trying to give you an idea of how this builds, because in the next scene, David meets with the gun dealer guy. He's looking at the guns and just having a good time, and kills him and kills the other guy. And yeah, those things paid off really quick.
Really quick, in fact. So from the slow build to like instant killing.
Yeah, they really take you through like, oh, maybe this guy's fine, just a little weird, but nope, he just starts with the killing.
So, is it turned out? So, is he like a spy, or is he a rogue agent, or is he like just crazy off the grid and like defector, or
Yes
to all of those?
Pretty much. Like some people just start randomly dying. Like the guy who is stopping Papa Peterson from getting a promotion, him and his wife just turned up poisoned for some reason. Also, Anna's boyfriend, who they were all smoking weed with earlier, he calls her from jail because his friend who got shot at the quarry, that gun ended up in Anna's boyfriend's car.
Mystery indeed.
Yeah, it's really fucking mysterious. Anyway, some shit goes down, and long story short, Luke says to David, after David did like some cool shit for him, says, yeah, Anna's looking into this, and she's really suspicious if you did it, like, because we're friends, right? This kid is such a dipshit. I hate him. So David knows everything, but yeah. But he doesn't really do much about it until Bad Army Corporation people roll up at the Peterson house and unload as soon as they see him. He was just helping fold some laundry, but nope, they decide to go all full guns out. And, well, that's a bad idea because he's basically a super soldier. He just super soldiers his way through them one at a time. And like he's getting shot. He's not like full character armor, but he is just super soldiering through all of it.
So can he be like hurt, or is he like actual Superman?
Like he can be hurt, but then he like ties a bandage around his leg and just has like a mild. So yeah, middle ground. And so like the military cop guy has met up with Anna because that's the thing he did. Guy is programmed to clean up all loose ends. Like that's what he does. And he's on a tear. And the mom, while her house is being riddled with bullets, is like, who are you? Now's the time when I'm going to ask that. And he's like, sorry, but knife to the chest. And then steals a station wagon and rolls the fuck out.
Oh, Lord. That seems like an overreaction. I got to say, like, so far.
Loose end. She's a loose tie him up. And so while he is rolling out in this station wagon, the dad's coming the other way down this small rural road, and he just buckles his seatbelt and head Fucks him up, kills him with a car crash and also like a few bullets because why not? Then he also kills Anna's friend and an entire diner with grenades.
This is starting to sound more and more less and less like a movie and more like an extended GTA spree.
That it kind of gets there. I mean, that's really most of the movie, but the last like 15 minutes are where I think you are going to connect with this thing and run away feeling happy, because the cool thing that David had done for Luke was essentially stop him from getting expelled from school for beating up a bully, and instead he got detention working on the Halloween dance and like setting things up for that. So what we end up with is Anna, army cop guy, and Luke in who's again building a Halloween high school dance maze, and it's basically turns into like a tense and fast-paced thriller, just like Phantasmagoria with an 80s futurist soundtrack. It is your shit, Zane. This movie is your shit. You're going to love this movie. You're going to love it, Zane. Do you hear me? You're going to love it.
All right, I admit I am pulled, like, especially the maze thing, because I haven't gotten a chance to say this, and it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have any real tie-in. But I love mazes in like movies and video games.
Oh, like, you're going to get a kick out of this. It's basically like a room by room haunted house maze, while again, 80s futurist techno soundtrack and a super soldier trying to kill people.
This does sound like my jam. I'm not gonna lie. I am very into this idea.
And just to cap it all off, I wanted to see what the budget for this movie was so that you had a good idea of how much work went into that or how much money they put into it. Couldn't find a figure. Don't know the budget. I know this movie only made like $300,000 at box office though, so it's not a lot. And you know, it kind of works because it is supposed to be a high school dance. And it looks like that. It's great.
I'm sold. I am sold. Even though I don't like kids in movies, I am sold.
Yeah. I mean, the daughter's an adult actor.
Yeah, I mean, she's in her 20s. That's fine. But you know, there's some. Are they adults as teens? Because I'm actually way cooler with that.
No, it's just a fucking kid.
Okay, well, damn. But I'm still down for this movie. It still sounds totally fascinating, and I'm surprised that I haven't heard of it. Or if I have, I don't know why I passed over it. So
it got a really small release. Like I only found out about it through, I don't even know how I ended up reading something about Sundance, but they said it was a good action movie and people died in it. So I was like, give it a shot.
Awesome. I am down, and it even sounds like it's a quality hidden identity thing, because you do get the reveal into this whole like unstoppable super soldier thing that you would never assume initially.
Yeah, and for context, the writer and director have almost only done horror movies before and since this, so they're really leaning on their instincts from that. Although the director's also doing some he got a project that some nerd ass shit about called Death Note. I don't know what it is.
Okay, I know what Death Note is. So
nerd.
I know. I've watched like a half a season of the anime and it was fine, and then I got bored. So don't at me, dude.
Nerd.
But it is a nice tie-in to my movie, because it was directed by Jack Shoulder, who is mostly a horror director, mostly known for crap. Like he did Nightmare on Elm Street 2, did Wishmaster 2, did Alone in the Dark, which I actually need to see because it's supposedly a pretty notable early 80s horror movie. And he also weirdly did a almost good but not very good sci-fi movie from the 90s, a made-for-TV sci-fi movie starring that guy who looks like Joe Rogan but isn't Joe Rogan.
That sounds like an improvement over Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I'm trying to let me see. I'll really quick. He's that other dude who.
What else is he in?
He's in. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking it's no, it's with Jeremy Piven.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the dude who looks like Joe Rogan but isn't Joe Rogan.
Yeah, kind of.
Um,
He's kind of like if Family Guy dude fucked.
yeah. But so he made a movie called 1201, which is like a Groundhog Day ripoff that's actually kind of fun. But that it was weird that this was connected to that because otherwise I'd never guess it. But anyway, this is his sort of non-horror departure that's still kind of a horror movie.
All right.
It's a movie you are going to love forever. It's from 1987. It is called The Hidden.
The Hidden. All right.
And it stars...
We have a lot of parallel themes in our movies. It's just The Thing for the titles. They're from horror directors, and apparently we're both legitimately excited for each other's reactions.
Yes. So this movie stars a young Kyle MacLachlan in his 20s.
All right.
Who's the guy from Twin Peaks, if you somehow don't know who Kyle MacLachlan is.
I know what Twin Peaks is, but I have very spotty memories of it for reasons.
Oh, he was also in Sex and the City, in like a bit role, but I don't know if that helps you any.
Nope.
Okay. Anyway, Kyle MacLachlan is awesome and fantastic and amazing. And in this movie, he plays an FBI agent sent to Los Angeles he's sent to Los Angeles to track down this homicidal maniac who's out there stealing and robbing banks and stealing cars and killing people and just going on this rampage. And he teams up with a local detective there. Kyle MacLachlan's pretty much the only notable person in this. It also has Chris Mulkey, who was also in Twin Peaks briefly, and then has Clu Gulager, who was a 70s TV actor, among other things. Mm-hmm. But it turns out that the guy going on the rampage is not, in fact, a dude. So the movie opens with a dude in a trench coat robbing a bank with a shotgun and blowing people away, who then jumps into a Ferrari, cranks up some 80s thrash metal, and goes on this car chase through the streets, this high-speed car chase with cops after him, and he drives into a barrier full of cops just as they're like filling the car full of bullets, and then jumps out, and the cops just shoot him a whole bunch, and that's basically how the movie opens.
Only the good die young.
So and it turns out the guy going on a homicidal rampage is not, in fact, a crazy killer, but is a body-hopping alien parasite that is addicted to fast cars and pop metal and stealing shit.
Oh my god, I love this guy. Alien, whatever. Am I infected by this thing?
What?
Am I infected by this thing? I might be.
I think this might be what's wrong with you. That you did not know that you were the Hidden.
This is fantastic.
And so
they're already on some real old Spider-Man shit.
This movie is it's essentially 80s Men in Black without any of the corporate aspect, feel to it.
Nice.
And so they take this dude to the hospital because they think that he's like nearly dead after they shot him a bunch. And they put him in a hospital bed to recover. And he immediately, his eyes pop open. He gets up and he turns and he grabs the guy next to him in the hospital bed, and his mouth opens up and this huge slug thing comes out and forces its way into the other person's mouth. And that's his new host. That dude becomes the Thing, the Hidden, the alien, and immediately gets up and goes to a record store, steals a bunch of cassette tapes, kills the record store owner, steals a boombox, and is walking down the street blasting metal and looking for a car to steal.
Sweet.
Yes.
This is my end point for this movie.
And so,
am I rooting for the wrong guy?
So you aren't, because we'll get there in a minute, but you aren't. So, or you will be rooting for for the right guy later on. So it turns out part of this thing is when the alien takes somebody over, it doesn't just like turn them into like, this. It isn't like just like, oh, they're an alien now. Like whatever problems the person had, the alien will have too. So when it jumped into this guy's mouth from the hospital bed, it's suddenly working a body that is like suffered several massive heart attacks and has a horrible gastrointestinal problem.
All right.
And so he's trying to like run down the street and his heart keeps like giving out on him. And he goes to a diner to like eat, but he can't stop burping and farting all the time.
This rules.
And so he goes to a used car or a car dealership where they're selling Ferraris because that's what he wants. And he goes up. This guy's like taking a test drive of this car he's gonna buy, and he just walks up to the car. He's like, "I want your car," and they try to throw him off the lot. And he comes back, and he's just like, "Give me the keys. I want your car." And he like kicks open the guy's office door. They're making the deal, and they're doing cocaine out of the back of a little Ferrari model.
I love everybody in this movie.
And he just pulls out a pistol. He's like, "I want your car." He just starts shooting everybody. Takes the car. And the guy he got it from, who was going to buy it, he takes his wallet. It turns out that the guy was a drug runner, or was a gun runner who owns a strip club.
Nice.
So he goes and he finds the guy's gun stash, and when he's finding it, he looks down and you see this like vein pop out all down his arm, and suddenly this big alien tentacle pops out of his arm because his body's like starting to fail and he can't hold it together.
All right. Like, and he needs a new host.
Packing tape to like keep it in his arm for a little bit longer, and then goes to the strip club where he then grabs the sexy stripper on stage in her dressing room, or he goes to her dressing room, grabs her, and she becomes the next alien host.
Bitchin', this is great. I'm a big fan of this. This is basically like, this is the symbiote from Spider-Man.
Pretty much. It's like so many good, awesome sci-fi ideas in a movie that nobody has ever seen other than probably people who used those ideas.
And now that watch our show.
Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah, you have to see this movie. So like it goes from, and then you have like a big shootout in a big department store full of mannequins with a stripper.
Nice. I feel like I don't have much to say about this movie because everything you're telling me about, it's like, okay, I'm excited for that. I want to see that. Everything sounds great.
And so before they're about to try and kill her, because this is where it turns, over time, while this is going on, Kyle MacLachlan is working with his partner, and he keeps acting kind of weird. He says some weird stuff, like his partner has him over for dinner, and his wife's like, "So where are you from?" And he's eating, and he just points up. She's like, "Oh, up north?" And he's like, yeah, up north.
All right.
And, he doesn't like, they give him some Alka-Seltzer, and he tries to like eat it. And he's like, "No, you got to put it in the glass." And then later on, like somebody gives him some aspirin and a glass of water, and he puts the aspirin in the glass.
All right. So this is not a person.
As it, in the shootout with the stripper on the rooftop, he pulls out this tiny silver gun, and as they're about to kill her, and he pulls out this gun, and he's gonna shoot. Before he can, though, she jumps off the roof and kills herself. And he's like, no, we gotta run and we gotta find her, because if it dies and we aren't there, the first person that finds it will get hosted. Like, we'll walk up to it and the alien will jump out and take over them when the host
All
is
right.
dead. Like, and the only way he can kill the host is when it's out of the in between bodies.
Got it.
And what unfortunately ends up finding the woman after she commits suicide first is the police chief's dog. You come to a scene of the dog in the police chief's house looking at itself in the mirror and nervous, like, because that's the thing, every time the alien has a new body, it starts nervously licking its lips all the time.
All right.
And so they cut to the dog in front of the mirror and the dog's just like licking its lips and you're just like, oh, now it's the dog.
Oh, that's great.
And as the dog, it kills the police chief, and you just have continued mayhem from there on out. Now,
Okay.
the obvious secret hidden reveal is, of course, Cal MacLachlan is also an alien.
Right.
And he's an alien cop sent to hunt down this alien criminal.
Ooh, alien cop.
And there's a line where they're in the prison. They're at the police station after this alien is going on a rampage, killing everybody in the police station. And he's like, he says to Cal MacLachlan, he's like, Al Hawk, how do you like being human? And he's like, that's, and his partner looks at him and is like, what? He's like,
Yeah.
he says, he's like, better, and he's like, it's all right. And he's like, better than being Altarian. Altarians are a filthy people. We could take over this planet. They have nothing here to stop us. And it's just, everything about this movie is more insane and like it gets bigger and better. At one point early in the movie, they're at the police station before they go out to investigate one of the other crimes that this rampaging alien has committed. I think it's before they go to dinner. They're actually at the police station.
Okay, hold on. Before we finish this, so far everything that you've said has reminded me of. Did you ever watch the show Frisky Dingo?
I've seen some of it, yeah.
All right, there's a scene where basically two people are trying to explain different things to each other, and there's like a doctor being like, there's a character named Hooper that's a robot with great tits, and the doctor was trying to explain how fucked up this guy's back is, and he's like, you ever see Hooper? Yeah, the robot with big tits. No, but that sounds awesome. I meant the Burt Reynolds movie where he's a hard-living stuntman. That sounds awesome. It is. Anyway, and they just keep going back and forth like that about different awesome things. That's how it's like. So anyways, when the stripper is starting the gunfight from the top of the roof, that sounds awesome. Every step of the way, I'm just lost for a reaction because it's like, all right, so the police dog with the Spider-Man symbiote is every sentence. It starts off with some absurdity, some wild bonkers shit that really should be prefaced with something. If you started this sentence in any other context, he would look at you like you're a fucking lunatic.
The Hidden is absolute. It's one of my absolute. Like, I saw this movie, and the only thing I could think after I saw this was, if I know anyone who has seen this movie and who has not told me about it, they're the biggest asshole I have ever met in my entire life.
Yeah, person. Like, man, now I'm mad at you for taking this long to get to it.
I put it on Twitter immediately. I repped this the moment I saw it. I put it out there. You follow me, you know, you could have found out.
I actually have you muted.
You son of a bitch. Now you tell me. That explains so much. Why my pleas go unanswered.
Yeah. Although I do follow your rules about advertisers.
you. You and your terrible, rule-bending Glue Apron is the worst advertising sponsor we have ever had to date.
Try it today.
So, so I wanted to get this in because the whole, I know you're really into the idea of like slow reveals and building and like little hints of things that are going to happen later.
Yeah.
So at one point, before they're going to go out to dinner at one point, or Kyle MacLachlan's going to go over to his partner's house for dinner because he doesn't have any place to stay, and his partner's like, oh yeah, we should do something, and you want to come over for dinner. And before they do that, though, one of the other cops at the station comes up. He walks up to them, and he's holding a flamethrower. He's like, can you believe this? We took this off some kids off the street. And then you don't see it for like another hour. It does not reappear.
A flamethrower.
Yeah.
If there's a flamethrower on the wall in the first act, you gotta burn some shit down.
Yes. You know it's coming back.
What do they do with the flamethrower? Is it throwing flames?
It's at the climactic scene is Kyle MacLachlan is the alien takes over this guy who's running a bid to be president, who's starting a presidential campaign. And so it's Kyle MacLachlan running through a hail of bullets with a flamethrower in his hand, and he just runs up, and as he's like falling to die, he just toasts the guy with it, and this alien comes out of his mouth.
Oh my god.
Everybody's screaming, and they're like, oh my god, he's burning this man. And then you just see the alien like coming out, and everybody's like,
Wow. This is a movie. What?
Amazing. Everything about it is so good. And it was written by all things of the dude who wrote National Treasure and Operation Dumbo Drop.
All right. Operation Dumbo Drop was fantastic.
He also wrote Rush Hour.
Fair. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. Operation Dumbo Drop, Dennis Leary's best non-demolition role.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I always forget that movie has Dennis Leary in it.
So, only the elephant getting thrown out of a plane.
There's a scene where the alien grabs a rocket launcher, and he's about to shoot Kyle MacLachlan and his partner. He's about to shoot our heroes. And right before he does, Kyle MacLachlan's partner shoots him in the head, and he just like absolutely spins off target and like blows a hole in the wall instead.
Sweet.
It's just so many things about this movie are executed perfectly.
This sounds insane. I don't know what to brace myself for. Is this movie as racist as the last one?
No, it is not nearly as racist as the last. Probably the most racist thing in it is
talking about how they were already being alien racist.
It's probably the what's his name from Machete?
Danny
Trejo.
Yeah.
It's probably Danny Trejo plays a locked up. He has a brief cameo as a prisoner in the jail cell.
Okay.
Who gets to shout some sort of super stereotypical Latino con lines at
Okay, so they put Danny Trejo in the movie, is what you're saying.
Yeah, they put Danny Trejo in a movie, and so it's a little bit racist.
Okay, yeah.
But that's really about the limit of it. Everything else, it's just there's so much cool shit in this.
I need to watch this like right now. I need to take this movie and cook it in a spoon and shoot it straight into my goddamn eyeballs.
Yes, yes, you do. It is absolutely one of the it is one of the best action movies, especially considering that nobody knows about it at all.
Wow. I feel like we both we got some hidden gems here.
We do. I'm excited to go watch your movie for what may be one of the first times ever.
Yeah, I mean, I think I finally got a beat on what makes you tick, and if this movie is it as, then you got a good beat on what I'm looking for in a movie.
Yeah, well, occasionally, I think, at some point, if a movie really represents my id, it probably represents you pretty well.
Yeah, if we
The
strip out
crazy,
any,
unchecked, no filters, no limiters on part of me. If a movie can really tap into that, then it's probably there for you.
yeah, pretty much. If we could find some way to, what sort of drug would just stop you from having any inhibitions about anything? We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll get there.
And then you'll take it, and then we'll just talk about the same movies we love.
That's right. Then I will be as passionate about White House Down as you are.
Yeah, that'll be a good day.
Oh, any final thoughts?
You have destroyed my brain with just the description of this movie. I can't wait to see what it does beaming straight into my head.
I passed up some awesome shit too to do it. So
yeah, you passed that other shit up if this is what you're getting to. You leave that other shit on the side of the road for the alien parasite movie with the strippers and the cocaine Ferrari.
I had to have the right theme. It's all about the right theme. You pick a good theme, you get a good movie.
Okay, and so far, Drugs and Men of Mystery is what we are really clicking on.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, that's really worked for us.
All right, let's do Drugs 2 next week.
More drugs.
Yeah.
Drugs 2, the undruggening.
Or what do we want to? How do the Rambo rules go? First drug 2, the whatever. Yeah. I don't care.
Drugs for first drug part 2.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, you can find me on Twitter at TheLaneSimon. You can find Troy on Twitter at PDLMMA. And we will be back with a reaction episode that I assume is just going to be even more amped up than our action episode. So
yeah, the reactions are going to be crazy. Everybody watch these movies so that you understand why we are so broken by them when our reaction episode comes out.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. So until next time, subscribe, give us a like, all that, and we'll be right back at you in just a couple days.
Paper.com/action.